Hello.
Hi. Are you
Okay,
the
perfect.
same guy from like 10 years ago?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I have
I
like
guess. I mean, I
questions.
changed a bit, maybe. Like, I don't know. I'm a bit more mature, I guess, but like, I'm still the same guy.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. How far back do you remember? Because I have some questions about past stuff.
I remember almost like everything, I guess. It's all still very familiar when it comes to like my old stuff I did. So you can ask me everything.
Alright, let me just open up the text file real quick because I've written down the text file. Let me just collect myself real quick and then I should be ready.
No problem.
Hello and welcome back to this podcast that still yet doesn't have a name. I'm Glitch. Everyone knows that by now. And we're here with Foxxy Dekay. How are you doing, bro?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Like I said, I'm doing really nervous because I've known you for quite a while, and some of my friends also know you, so they'd be really happy to see this.
Yeah, that's cool.
One thing I should say is that I don't really treat this as like an interview. It's like I said, if you ever listen to the podcast with me and Bug, then it's more of a casual thing per se. So
Yes, of course. Yeah.
yeah, I don't have many questions. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things to go through.
Okay. Perfect.
I should say this right now. I have this is gonna sound kind of obsessive, but I have streamed one of your songs like 150 times, like for the past 3.5 days.
Oh my God. Like, I'm very honored to hear that. Like, that's pretty cool.
Here, I'll take a screenshot. Hang on, let me go to Last.fm.
You're still using Last.fm. I haven't used that for a while.
There you go.
Oh my God. Like, that's sick. Like, I'm very honored to see that. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's no problem, because when I was listening to that song, then it put me in such a mood. It's probably like one of your most popular songs, but from listening to that song so many times, like it got me in a trance where I just couldn't stop listening, but just that. For audio listeners out there, I'm talking about 37564 featuring 4649 Narushiko, which I will get to that in a second because I'm really curious. That song basically had two moods to it. It felt quite melancholic, but at the same time it quite mysterious as well, because in my head I theorized about this. After that song you and Nadeshiko made, you all just seemed to have like kind of went on a hiatus for God knows how many years now, and
Yeah.
without any explanation really, do you have any sort of like explanation on why you just sort of disappeared for that many years?
I mainly disappear because, yeah, I had like some really bad, mental health problems. And I just like couldn't do music anymore. And that was basically it. So I just couldn't do music. I just like was so stressed out all the time and I wasn't able to work. And I just stopped with everything, really focused on myself for a while, and after a couple of years I felt better and started making music again, so it was like that.
Yeah, I noticed that you were on and off because you uploaded like Water Sky in 2013 and a few other stuff like 2014, 2017, right after that.
So it was basically this, I just didn't have like any inspiration. I wasn't like really feeling well, and I just wasn't interested in music at all. After I, felt better, I started making music again, and since like 2 years, I feel amazing.
So are you planning to make like a huge comeback this year? Because I know that you returned like last year for a brief moment.
Yeah. I tried to make like more stuff this year and next year. So I'm working now on a couple songs. And, I'm doing a lot of sound design as well. So I'm using Serum a lot and I'm using Massive. I use those two VSTs a lot lately. And also I do some stuff still with LSDJ, so with the Game Boy.
That's really cool to hear. So what else do I have right here? There was also another like controversy surrounding around 37564. It was an artist called Sewerslvt. Have you heard about her?
Yeah, I've heard about her. She wrote me a couple times. I
Oh,
guess.
really?
Yeah.
Because I was just gonna ask about that one controversy she had where she made a remix of that of 37564 and
Yeah.
basically named it as her own title.
I wasn't aware of it at first, but then like I got a message on like SoundCloud, and maybe I can still find it. So she wrote me basically like that she's sorry that like she was stealing my music and stuff, and like that she will delete it in the future. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I wish you good luck with your music. That was my response to it. So
Oh,
I wasn't like really mad. I was just like, okay.
I was just like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, she followed me like way back when she wasn't even popular. It was weird that she got so popular for me.
Yeah, that's what the YouTube algorithm does sometimes. It changes people.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, like, what the hell? Now she has like 31K like followers on SoundCloud, and that was strange for me because I remember I was listening to her stuff when she had like maybe 1,000 followers or like 600 or something. For me, it wasn't like really a big deal. I just think it's not really nice, you know, when you like remix a song or do something, at least like give credits. I always do that most of the time, so when I'm not like using a sample or something, I just use sometimes samples, and I don't really give all the credits to it. But like most of the time, if I'm making money with the music I'm putting out, I just always credits. And so yeah.
I don't really have much to say about Sura. I had my own issue with her, but I just don't want to get into it really because I don't want to like throw any more fuel into the fire especially with all the controversies that she's been through right now. And I don't think anyone wants to hear any more of it, so I'm just not going to say anything for the time being.
Yeah, of course. I just think I'm just a very chill dude. I don't want like stress with anyone or something. I'm just like, I personally, I don't really care about it.
Yeah, there was a text file that was included within that EP. Let me see if I can find it, because I did have a copy of it. Yeah, I found it. So basically link the original song, then her remix, and then she just basically apologized, explained what happened, something like that.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, at least
I wasn't even aware of that. Okay. Yeah, it's good that she apologized. So.
When was this, by the way? Was this like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I guess in 2019. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It must be like from the message I see here on SoundCloud to say it's in December 2019. So it was
December. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back like 8 or 9 years. What was your production like back in the day? Because I know it's way more different now.
Yeah, back in the day, I started with making chiptune, and after that, I just got Ableton Live, and I started to make like those chip break, whatever you would call it, kind of music. You know, I just tried to learn new stuff and wanted to, you know, create something different. Because I was like, you know, I think my music is a bit boring.
Yeah.
And then I just started to, you know, experiment with different sounds and stuff and learned sound design a bit. So that was basically it.
Yeah, I came to the conclusion that you're more of a variety producer. At first, I had mistaken you as a breakcore producer, so...
I would say, like, I don't consider myself as like a breakcore producer or lolicore producer or chiptune producer. I just do the things that I like, and that's basically
Yeah, I know that you did like that split EP with that other person that was kind of like lolicore related.
Yeah, it was.
Which is no longer up. I cannot find a copy of it.
I guess, like, do you mean with Sizalyth?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I did a split with her in 2009, I guess.
2009? Christ.
or 2000. No, it was even 2008. We released it on Chip That Drops in 2009. But like, this was like one of my first stuff I did. It's not very good in my opinion. But I was young then. I was just 14 years old.
Jesus. So what was the state of that community back then compared to now?
Maybe you know MySpace? You know,
MySpace.
like, yeah. So I remember back in the days, there were a lot of, those breakcore, lolicore, or IDM, or whatever, like you could find so many different genres on MySpace. And I basically wanted to find new music there. Back then, like, the community was like very small. Nowadays, there's so many artists and like there's so many platforms. Back in the day, there was like maybe like MSN and MySpace. And when it comes especially like to the first people that kind of like created that whole thing, I guess it was like lolicore. Maybe you heard of them. They're from Sweden. And then like there was also, goreshit was still around for like so many years. I can
Yeah,
remember he still like had MySpace in like 2008.
yeah, goreshit is still around.
Yeah, so that was also like pretty cool, like that he's still making music. But like back in the days, I think like people used just like MySpace and yeah, Last.fm as well. But there were just so many like musicians on MySpace.
Now there's like more lolicore-ish producers, and the community certainly has grown over the years. And
Yeah, it did.
funny you say, because at some point I wanted to be like some sort of lolicore producer, but after experimenting with it, I just decided it wasn't really like a good idea to like base myself off of that and just be more comfortable with what I made as in general, kind of like how you felt during that
yeah.
time. I know
Yeah.
I know that you listen to me, that's for sure, and I found that
Yeah.
very surprising.
I listened to music on Spotify and I really liked it. So I really like, that you use this ambient element with breakcore and drum bass and jungle, and I really like it. Like it's something very unique in my opinion. From what I've heard, like a lot of people say, yeah, you're similar to that artist.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Like, I think you have a very unique style.
Yeah, like I said last episode, I'm not really a carbon copy of anyone else. It's just, it's more of something
Yeah.
that I've grown to get used to. And if I try any sort of other genre, then sure, it kind of sounds sloppy at first, but then I try to perfect it.
So you started making music not so long ago, right?
Yeah, I guess I would say I made my big break like last year, but when I started using FL Studio for the first time, then it was like October 2017. It took me like 4 years just to learn it by myself without any tutorials.
I use Ableton Live. I've used FL Studio before that. For me, it was just like more easier because I use my Launchpad a lot and also my keyboard and a lot of other things. And with FL Studio, I just like, it was sometimes a bit more difficult, I think. That's just like my personal opinion. And I think it's still a very like cool program.
Everyone is just used to their own programs, so
yeah,
it's either one program or the other. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I think it really doesn't matter as long as you're like really having fun and can make great music with it. I mean, I did like LP with just the Game Boy camera. And I like, sometimes when things are more limited, you can get more creative.
I thought you might have used like FamiTracker for a bit.
I use FamiTracker as well. It's a fun program. I had like an old computer and I used FamiTracker on it. You can actually, I guess, install it even if you don't have Windows XP. So I installed it on DOS. So it was just on a, what was it? It wasn't a Toshiba, I forgot it. But it was like a very old computer.
I know that goreshit used Amiga trackers for a while.
With Amiga, with the trackers, I don't really like sometimes the sound of them, like because they sound sometimes like weird and like distorted.
Yeah, they're very compressed.
Yeah, like it's cool. Like a lot of like early speedcore stuff was done on Amiga, for example. I'm from Switzerland, and there was like a net label like back in the 90s, and they produced like speedcore, and they all used Amiga computers. So I think like for also jungle, back in the 90s, a lot of people just used Amiga.
Yeah.
Could even buy like some sound cards where you had like preloaded samples and stuff. That was pretty sick.
With those Amiga trackers, I wasn't really sure how people imported files onto there, because like I'd hear like breaks and anime samples, and I'm just guessing if they either recorded it or just somehow imported it somewhere from CDs.
I never used Amiga, but I think they have like a certain file, you know, they just have to change like the bit rate, change the file, and then import it. So I guess it's not that hard to do.
I was gonna use an Amiga tracker at some stage to experiment around, but I just gave up like after 2 minutes. Just like how I did with Ableton.
Yeah,
when I tried to import plugins.
I mean, like I think like a great tracker nowadays is Renoise. I really like it. I used Renoise once. I just liked Ableton the most. It's for me one of those programs I really like to use.
So, what are you currently like working on right now?
So, like with our music?
Yeah, you can just give out the titles.
Well, currently, you know, I'm just working. I don't know, like what kind of music it is. Like I have no idea. It's similar to like the last stuff I did. I personally really have no like title for my music genre I'm making, but I'm just like doing my own like style. I like when music, you know, has that like that power in it, when it's bouncy and like just like happy.
Sometimes I can't even make up any titles at all, so I get where you're coming from. I don't really dictate what genre I'm making. It's more something I mostly lean towards on my own. And sure, if it sounds like drum and bass, then sure, it's drum and bass. But if it's something else, then I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't like labeling stuff, like in general. I just don't like that. And you're putting things in a box. I never liked that, like in general.
Who have you collaborated with so far? Because I know you've collabed with Nadeshiko and that other person with the split?
Yeah, with Catalogue and Nadeshiko, and who else? There was this guy called, you know, from Australia. He's a friend of mine, but like he changed his name. I have to look it up. What is, I don't even know his newer, but I also made a split with him. Like back in 2013 or 12, something like that. And I guess it was like Bolshevik Rave Party was his name then, but I can't really remember his name now because he changed it. But like, yeah, he made also some pretty cool stuff. You know, I also have like some other friends I'm making music with in Switzerland, so I sometimes just like create some melodies or stuff for them, or send them like some presets for Serum or Massive that I made myself so they can use it.
I also use those two plugins a lot. They're both great.
Yeah, those are great, yeah. And Omnisphere is also nice. I like Omnisphere also a lot.
You know that lolicore.org is archived on Wayback Machine, right?
Oh, I haven't. No, really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
They have like an archive of everything, including chip dip drops. I see your stuff in there. Hang on.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I can remember. Oh yeah, now I can see. Like I did also a split with Hector Mora.
Yeah.
And like with Odoxolagnia, and like this was, I tried to make like noise music as well at one point. For me, with noise music was just like, I bought like a bunch of things, you know, and I just wanted to express myself with it, and it was good like to let out anger or something, or when you're like not feeling good. For me it was more like that, so it was a very good tool for me, like to make noise music, because after that I always felt calm. Hyper melancholic, so it was basically just harsh noise. So I was listening to like Merzbow and Masona, and I just was like shocked at first that like people can enjoy that stuff. I was like, how the hell can people like enjoy noise music?
There's a fan base for everything.
Yeah, and then I just was like, you know, I try myself, and then I understood like it's fun to make, because I you know, the freedom that it gives you is like, you don't have to follow musical rules or any rules, and you just can do whatever you want. And that's like the cool thing about like a lot of like this avant-garde noise, free jazz stuff that you can just like do whatever you want. And it's like anarchistic in a way where you still have a certain kind of structure. And I like those genres because of that.
Unfortunately, none of these links seem to go anywhere because they're not archived, so I think most of your stuff is just lost.
Yeah, but I don't care. I still have some of it, but like not all. I don't like my early work that much, but like I like my newer stuff more.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's just like more professional.
It's more about like experimenting back then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I was like younger. I made most of the stuff when I was 17, 16, 14, like that.
There's about this one collaborator I was gonna ask, because ever since I listened to 37564. Speaking of which, that kind of broke the immersion for me when I found out what the numbers actually meant.
Like,
oh god, it kind of broke the immersion for me. I was just like, okay, so maybe it's not what I was thinking. Okay, sure. But I'm just gonna be straightforward with this.
Yeah.
Do you know what might have happened to Nadeshiko? Because she's completely gone.
Yeah, I know everything about her, to be honest. Well, she had like, in 2010, you know, she started with like vlogs and stuff, so she was a bit popular on YouTube. I remember that. And then there was like some weird 4chan incident as well.
Oh jeez.
From what I've known, she made like a track still in 2017. That was very surprising.
Oh.
And it was then like I stopped with Chips It Drops record, and I was very happy, you know, to see that she like made a track for it. That was pretty cool. I know that it a tribute to my label on Sundre Violence. And yeah, that was like very nice to see. I was very happy about it.
Oh.
And yeah, after that, like she got actually, you know, married. So and now she's like happy young woman, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome. That's like better than the answer that I expected. It was like, oh, I don't know, she might have disappeared, or oh, okay, she just probably lost interest in music. But no, that was very surprising to hear. Because like for a while, for like 2 days straight, I was just wondering to myself, where the fuck is she? Like, I didn't want to even research because like that would be weird of me to do, and so like it was just so mysterious for me.
No, but like a friend told me, like, you know, that she's married, and I was like, oh, that's nice for her. So I was very happy. She also like, you know, had problems with schizoaffective disorder.
Oh Jesus.
So that's pretty tough. Yeah, she had like some really heavy mental health problems, but now she's doing great, and this makes me very happy.
I'm really happy to hear that, honestly.
Yeah.
Now people are gonna start calling me a simp in the comments. Don't do that. Don't do that. I could just, like, I have this image in my head where I'm standing in front of a corkboard, coffee in hand, photos with red threads connecting the dots. I look back at the camera and say, where is she? If someone could make fan art of that, then I would be so happy. God. If any of you lovely artists out there listening, like, I'd love to see that happen. I really would. Just like, I just have like crazy eyes. Where is she?
So do you make like your artwork? Do you like make it yourself?
Yeah, I use Photoshop.
Oh, okay, nice.
I have like a lot of photos on Instagram, Tumblr, all that stuff. I usually mash everything together. So I don't draw anything. It's just more like experimental glitch art.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I draw a lot of like anime stuff from scratch. I started doing that at age 23, and then over the next 4 years, I just learned it more and more, and then I just got better. And now most of the time I make the artwork myself. For example, like the artwork of my latest EP, I've done it all myself, the drawing included.
And then before that, the cover art for Bring It Here was drawn by a DeviantArt user.
Yeah. She was like a fan of mine, and I asked her, like, do you want to draw something like for this track? And she said, yeah, of course.
Do you have any stories to share?
About my music?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
anything, collaboration stories and somewhat.
Yeah. I would really like, to just work with more artists, like in general. I really, found out about one artist, and like she makes like pretty cool stuff. Like I think like everybody should check her out. I'm not very sure how to like say her name, but like I think she's very talented. And I was thinking maybe I could like make a collab with her.
Sizalyth. I think
Yeah,
that's.
Sizalyth. Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to pronounce it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
I think she's very talented, and like I would like to maybe make a split release with her. Like I can send you like a link of the stuff she's doing, because she's using a lot of hardware instead of software, and that's pretty nice.
I don't use any hardware at all. It's just me using a keyboard and mouse, and that's it. So,
I use the keyboard, MIDI keyboard, and yeah, sometimes also my guitar. For Bring It Here, I just played a couple chords and recorded it. I just live at a very small place, and I don't have that much space for equipment. And it's also cheaper, like if you would buy all that stuff and doing everything analog, it would be horrible. Like to, carry it around all.
So about stories, do you have any stories to share?
Maybe I can like share my story about like the concerts I had back in 2009. So I remember once, maybe you've heard of like micro music. You know what that is? It's like a collective of like different chiptune artists.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's not very well known. And I can remember there was like an art exhibition back in 2008. And I've uploaded like some music on MySpace. Once like a guy came to me and said like, I know your music. And I was like, what the hell? I have like just about 1,000 plays or something. And then I was like very surprised about that. And then he said he was listening to it on MySpace. And after that, he said, well, he does like just some art stuff. And if I want to join this Shift Festival, it was called, that was a festival for like electronic arts. And I was just so surprised, that they invited me. And then I did like something with a visual artist called Raquel Meyer. She was from Spain, and like she makes like 8-bit visual art, and I created music for it, and that was pretty cool. And then we had like a little gig in 2009 together, and I think that was like the coolest concert I ever had, because it was in 2009 and it was also a headphone concert, and it was kind of like an exhibition, but it was also a concert. So you could just look at the visuals of her, or you could also listen to my sound with the visuals.
But it's weird, but also pretty cool.
A lot of like artists are weird, I guess, when it comes to like other stories. Right now, I just focusing on this new release with a lot in influence from my last EP. So I just want to do something similar like that, but also with better quality, because sometimes I'm really not like happy with the quality of my sound, and I want to make it more better. I don't know, I'm such a perfectionist sometimes when it comes to music. I'm like never satisfied with my stuff.
I can also relate, because I have a lot of project files and unfinished demos lying around on my hard drive that I'm probably never going to finish.
I have so many of them, and like it's really crazy, Some tracks are like good, but then I have like no idea how I should continue.
Same.
And then I'm, it sounds like nice, but at the end, like I have maybe like 200 files and then I start, at the end I just like finish 4 songs or something. Like it's always like that. I start 200 things, but at the end I finish 4 things, or even just 2.
Yeah, I have 45 project files, about 2 remixes, 2 singles, and 1 EP. Those all from, like, this year so far.
Yeah.
And then I have my special unreleased folder where I have 4 songs that are finished but unreleased. There is a work in progress I am working on right now that's, like, heavily influenced by one of your songs. I can send it over to you.
I would love to hear it. I would really love to hear it.
I took influence from that song I was mentioning earlier, but basically expressed in a way how I felt. If that makes sense, maybe?
Yeah, it does make
sense. So the song is probably going to be called Where Were You? But yeah, nice. Now that mystery is resolved, I can now rest happy.
That's very nice to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just still around, and that's like really surprising. My friend LOXLEY Sound Unit will be really happy to hear that you're still around.
It's very nice, you know, to hear that, like, feedback, because I didn't know that people, like, in general care about my music, and this means a lot to me, you know. Even like maybe my English isn't the best, but I can listen to it now.
Oh really? Okay, then we might as well just like play it like in the podcast.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna start listening to it now. It's gonna be like a podcast exclusive work in progress. Alright, let me know when you're gonna press play.
I'm gonna press play now.
Okay.
Okay. Nice bell sounds.
Yeah, I tried making everything like a melody.
Man, I love it. It's really nice.
It's only been 30 seconds.
I still love it. Like,
I tried to make the sound. I've tried to make the break sound very consistent, so it's not just like a single loop.
oh, this lead is very nice that you use.
I detuned it and then, yeah. I like how atmospheric it is in general.
It is really nice.
I'm like 6 hours into it.
Yeah, it is really beautiful. Like, you know, it's kind of like melancholic, romantic, and very atmospheric at the same time. It's you know, it's really nice.
The second drop, though, it has much more breaks. I was really proud of this one.
Yeah, you should be. It's really amazing.
I need to get rid of that hypersonic lead. I just didn't... I don't know what I was thinking when I had that in there. I'm gonna take it out. But yeah, that's gonna be the last drop, and then the next section will just be the ending. I'm gonna keep it short. Yeah, that's it. It just ends right there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very influenced by 37564, so...
Yeah, I can hear that. I can
without vocals.
Yeah. When you start a song with what do you start first? Do you just like have an idea, or do you just do something?
I have no idea, because I never start with the intro.
I personally, I always start with the melody, then I add like a pad, and then like bass, and then breaks or whatever. When I make music, I don't really have like something in my head, or a thought, or an image. Sometimes I feel like making music, and sometimes like... Or do you also have that where you can't listening to music anymore, where you're just like, after producing, you're like, oh man, I hate music?
Well, no, never, because I'm still trying to find like new artists.
Yeah.
Do you also get that feeling where if you work on a project for long enough that you can't really tell whether it sounds good or not?
Yeah, and then I ask other people if they like it.
Yeah, that was me with that song, because there have been days where I worked on that song for like 2 to 3 hours, have a headache, and then when I come back to it, I just like don't feel anything from it anymore. It's just, okay, this sounds fine, I could possibly put this out, but, I don't really feel anything.
For me, it was also the same. I guess it's just because you listen to the track all the time, and then you kind of lose like the emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
I think music has a lot to do with like emotions and feelings. And if you lose like the emotional connection to your sound, it's like you can't really feel it anymore. And when you show it to another person, they're just listen to it and feel it. And I think that's like the best trick when you're having that.
Yeah.
I don't know why also my track Interstellar Love Story got like 60k plays and so many likes, because I did that like 3 years ago.
And then you manually just change the hertz to 432.
This 432 hertz thing, like a lot of people say like, you know, the music sounds more harmonic and stuff and whatever. So I wanted to try this out on like this track, you know, and I tuned it to 432 hertz.
It was such a trend, kind of like slowed and reverb songs.
Yeah, and I just wanted to try it out. You know, it's like people with spiritual beliefs or stuff saying, you know, it's better for your energy or aura or whatever.
I personally didn't feel anything from it, so.
Yeah, I also don't like feel like a huge difference. Like maybe people saw this and were like, okay, like this is interesting. But I use a lot of codes and like stuff in my music. For example, like Solaris 12, 15, 22, 5. Actually, like it's the letter 12 is for the letter L, 15 is for the letter O, 22 is for the letter V, and 5 is for the letter E. So it means like Solaris love. And I do that sometimes like with tracks, so yeah.
Well, yeah, your tracks just definitely like inspired me to do some of my most recent stuff. It's not like I knew you like last week and immediately had to get you on the podcast. I've known you for far longer than that, really.
But how did you discover this underground scene?
This started like late June 2020 is when I discovered Sewerslvt for the first time. I remember that morning specifically, me and my family wanted to go to IKEA for whatever reason. I don't know why, so I just came along with them, and I just saw on my Spotify, Sewerslvt, I've heard of them. Let me go check their stuff out. First track I've listened to was what, New Love? Or was it Pretty Cunt? I don't know. I can't remember, but one of my most favorite tracks of all time from her was definitely New Love, and I loved it so much. But yeah, I was listening to her stuff. I wasn't listening to any of her projects. I was just listening to what was popular at that time. So I was just like, oh shit, as soon as I get back home, I should probably try and do this music. So I came back home and made my first like proper track with proper mastering and mixing. Because all my other projects beforehand, they didn't really sound good. They sounded kind of terrible. Except for that remix EP I did with Jet Set Radio remixes. That was alright. And then another one where I sampled a literal hentai in it. That was... that was also alright. I keep that up. But the only problem I had with those two releases is that the mastering sounded really muddy. Because I never knew how to master. With every project that I made, it always come with a limiter installed. So I didn't do any EQing or compression. So
You
I just use
have
that
to
limiter.
use SOUNDGOODIZER in that show. Like,
Sound good.
and everything is fine. And
Yeah.
and sausage fattener and like
I never used any of them.
you don't need any like those plugins, like you just need that, then everything will sound good.
Yeah. It's become much more of a meme in the EDM community.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made this track, Purple Aura. It was released in the 3rd of July. I made that track, and the first 10 seconds that I made of that song, I was just like, holy shit, this is exactly what I wanted to do. And I kept working on it. It was the first song I had ever made that took me 8 hours straight. I literally sat down in front of my computer for 8 hours and just worked on that song without any breaks whatsoever. And by the end of it, my head was just so full, and I just walked outside for like 30 minutes and came back.
That's cool. I sometimes, I just feel dizzy when I'm making too much music. It's like taking drugs. I don't know. You feel crazy after doing music all the time, especially in front of a display. And I think if you just make music like for so long without a stop, I personally I don't enjoy it that much anymore afterwards. Now just take breaks during the time I'm producing, because otherwise I just stress myself too much sometimes. I'm just like, I want to finish that, but then I'm hearing something, and I'm like, oh, I want to change that as well, and I want to change this. Oh, this could sound a bit cooler or whatever, and then I just waste too much time.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta leave things alone and just come back to it like after a few weeks. But even then, that doesn't even work for me. I still have no ideas after that.
What I was thinking was like, just make an EP with all like unfinished songs and like try to finish them all in 1 month. So it's like, you pick up like all the songs that you're like not really happy with, and then you try like to finish all of them in like 1 month. And then I was thinking about that.
Okay, going back to what I was saying earlier, after I made that Purple Aura song, I was going to release it as a single, but then I had unknowingly made like one of my most popular tracks on Spotify, When They Cry, which was made a few days after that song was made. And I don't know why that song is popular. I personally think it's not one of my best, but hey, if people enjoy it, then sure. I'm really happy for that. It has surpassed over 1,000 plays on Spotify earlier, and that made me really happy. But you might have heard it before.
Yes, I did. It's a very nice song. From what I can see, like Come Here is also very popular.
Yeah,
especially,
I know, on SoundCloud. I got like 15,000 plays from that.
I really like that one as well. The bass lines that you use, I think you're pretty good at like making those bass lines and giving like the music a very cool atmosphere, in my opinion.
I don't know any music theory, so I just go by ear usually. But music theory is kind of becoming obsolete, especially when you're using like a DAW program, because the piano rolls right there. It labels what note it is. So
I learned like just playing chords, and I know a little bit of music theory, and I was playing the piano since I was a kid. So when it comes to music, like in general nowadays, you don't really need all of that anymore. It's so simple. But like what I don't like is, I'm not against that, but like I think it's weird that like packs exist or like programs that already create like chords and stuff. I think it's like weird, in my opinion.
I'm guilty of using those sometimes, but when I do use them, then I try to make them like sound different, kind of. Like the most popular sample pack out there is probably Jungle Jungle or something.
Yeah, I know that one. I have like nothing against that. I also tried to do that once, but then I was feeling like almost guilty. This is kind of wrong.
I used to be against that. Just like, oh, it feels like it's not mine anymore. I'm just using someone's work. But I mean, the same could be same for sampling, really. But
yeah, that's true. Try to like sample small parts or something, or like a voice, or just things, and then I add stuff to it. Like I sample and then I play something to the sample. I always make my music like that. Most of the time I sample, something, and then I listen, which chord is fitting to this sample, and then I just play a chord or a melody to it.
Yeah.
That's how I make my music most of it.
And that's interesting because like not a lot of variety producers really do that. I can't think of any other one because probably because I don't listen to a lot of artists.
I have to say that I almost listen to all kind of music genres. Like I don't like have a genre that I've never listening to, because like in most genres I can like find one or two artists that I really like. Of course there's some sub-genres that I think like are crap, but like most genres there's always something cool that you can find. Lately I also listen to a lot of like 80s smooth jazz things, like I like that as well. And especially it's cool when you like can sample this stuff, bring it into your music and create something new with.
My friend breakcore does the same. He talked about it. He just finds like jazz samples and tries to incorporate them into his own like little hyperpop stuff.
That's cool.
So really
That's
cool.
Really cool. Yeah.
We still talk. That's the thing. It's not like strictly podcast, that's it. Like he would join the VC in like a server I'm in every once in a while and we just talk.
I think that, or do you think my English is okay? Because like sometimes I'm a bit like insecure, because like I have to think what I should say.
It sounds perfectly fine to me. I can understand you like 99% of the time.
Because I speak Swiss German and German and French, so those are the language I speak the most. And with English, I only use it for my music. Actually, the name Foxxy Dekay, it came from my childhood. Like I never told that to anyone. My first plushie that I had was a little fox. When I was a little kid, I really liked foxes, and this was my favorite animal. My dad, he, just called me like Sewerslvt, that's Swiss German, which means fox, kind of like little fox. And then like DK, it's actually, my first name is Dionys, and my second name is, I don't say my second name because people can look it up. So it starts with K.
You can probably give the initials.
Yeah, so it's DK, so I gave the name because of those two things, because of my dad, who sadly passed away, then DK, for my first and last name.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's okay. Sometimes this happens, so I think like in life in general, like you should really try to do the best with it and try to make the stuff that make you happy. When it comes to those things, I just saw like your life can end so fast, and I think it's so important that you really do the things you love in life and not just do something for money or because someone says so that you should do this or that. I think this is something that I learned, especially when I had like a lot of like stuff that happened in my life who were like really tragic, and like with my music it was also for me like some kind of expression, too, and it was something that really helped me, going through difficult times in my life. I
know that some people just spend the rest of their lives working to a 9-to-5 job with very little enjoyment.
Yeah,
so
I'm a graphical artist. I do that for a living. I work for myself most of the time. I worked for a company once and it was okay, I don't like working 100% like 9 to 5 my whole life. I just wanted to change that and wanted to like work for myself.
I think we should like change the topic kind of. It's getting a bit too real.
Yeah, it's getting too real. Sorry. Sorry.
So, were there any artists that were big who contacted you other than Sewer?
Yeah, of course. Like, do you know from PC Music, TLC?
Nope, I don't know.
So, she was very popular. She makes kind of like hyperpop. I think like the term hyperpop originated from this PC music label. Those were like the first guys who actually created this kind of sound. She contacted me, and I met her in Paris. There was a gig together with this very popular guy. He also like have this label called Bitbird. His name is San Holo. Have you ever heard of him? But
Yes.
He makes like more. Yeah. So yeah, I also like talked with him a couple times about like music. Yeah, I guess. And who else, like bigger artists? I was writing a lot back in the days with like lolicore, but they're not really popular. So I don't know. I guess like San Holo was like the most popular dude, and TLC, and like the guys from like PC music. Once I wanted to do something for PC music in 2015, but like I just couldn't really. I was thinking like my music is not that good. Yeah.
I was hoping you had like interacted with goreshit at some point. That would have been super cool.
Yes, I did, but that was so that was like 8 years ago. Since from now on I haven't like talked with him. Yeah.
He seems cool, to be honest.
Yeah, he seems like pretty cool. I would like to like meet him, or like having a gig with him. That would be very nice. Or just like in general, I would like to have like a gig again, like somewhere, or just with a lot of like great musicians, or create something. That would be very cool.
Yeah, I think I'm done with the text file. I don't know. We can keep going. How long do you have, really?
I don't know. How long we've been talking?
I would say 1 hour and 11 minutes. I got like most of my most important questions answered, and they're
That's
all
nice,
satisfying.
yeah.
They're very satisfying.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, and I hope my English. I'm happy that my English is understandable. So that's great as well. What would you like to do in the future, or do you have like anything that you plan like with your music?
I'm not sure really. I would just like continue doing what I do, because my sound keeps evolving with each song or release I do. So, and I'm still kind of growing thanks to like people like Bugcore and everything.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question for you. Like, was it only my Spotify that you found, or was it something else?
Just Spotify.
Oh, that's cool.
I was listening a lot to N-Frag.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. I just uploaded my music like some months ago on Spotify, and like I've never like used it before. But there were so many people who said like, like I don't have SoundCloud. Like, can you upload it on Spotify? And Spotify, blah blah blah. And I was just like, no. I will do it. I was like, I was thinking like no, but then.
That wouldn't be really a bad idea.
Yeah.
The only issues that you probably come across is like sample issues and stuff, because some samples are copyrighted. I
mean, the only sample that I've used, for example, on Color for Dreams was like Remember Why, and in Bring It Here. I know, Don't Stop. So I used only like, I guess it was the Remember Why was the track from Alexander O'Neill. And for Don't Stop, I used like some like Miami bass stuff and like some vocals, that I found.
Yeah.
But the other things are not like sampled. And yeah, of course, in Interstellar Love Story, I also used like vocal samples. Yeah. Like,
you could like get away from it, like even if you use vocal samples and nobody would care, like no one would go after you.
And I like changed the sample, so I made like faster and stuff, and I added new things to it. So I played a melody and a pad to the sample, or played with my guitar. So I think it's not that of a big issue.
Let's do a bit of a role reversal. What do you have anything to ask about me?
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever been to Japan?
Never. I haven't traveled in so long.
Really?
Last time I ever like made like a major travel, so because you know this is a bit personal, but sometimes I would go to Poland like every year. But not for the past 2 years. I haven't because obviously the thing. But yeah, I think my last major holiday probably would have been like Spain or something. I'm not sure.
Oh.
And that's I don't travel much often.
I don't know. Like I traveled for a very long time. Once like over 2 years. And I was in Japan for, I would say, like 3 months. But like, I really wanted to discover everything. Maybe you know CDR? Do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met CDR there. He saw, and I saw, like, we wanted to do a gig together, but I didn't have like my stuff with me. And,
were they performing that?
He's fun. Yeah, CDR is performing at like a place. And yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. I liked that. That gig was very nice there. It was very cool. When I went to Akihabara, I didn't like anime anymore. So I just saw it, and then it was too much for me. I was like, everywhere just fucking anime, and it's all like it's just like a. Sorry, I was swearing.
No, it's fine. Swearing is tolerated here.
Okay, like I just saw like all this stuff and those maid cafes, and I was really like, oh man, like I hate that so much. And there was always this like shitty J-pop music that they were playing, like it's so loud that you like couldn't like focus on like anything because it was just. And after that, I was like, man, I hate anime. So I never watched it.
I just saw some videos where there's this borderline 18 plus stuff like on display where anyone can see it. Did you see any of that?
Yeah. And I was just like, that's so weird. For me, it's just like, and then I wanted to like go to a store and I wanted to get like those old like iPod classics because, I wanted to like put a SSD in it because I don't know, when I listen to music on my phone, like the battery dies so fast, so I wanted to get like those old iPods and modify it. And then I went to a store, and then there was like an electronic store where you could like buy stuff, and then I went up, and then there was some very weird stuff, so you could go there and spend like time with like a maid or something, but that was just like in an electronic store, like. And I was so confused. I was like, where am I here? And then I just went out. I had a girlfriend, a Japanese girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's also from Switzerland. I went with her to Japan. And like, it was good because like, I think you will really get lost a bit if you're, if you can't speak Japanese and you're in Tokyo, for example. So it's good to have like someone that can speak Japanese.
Yeah, Japan must be like chaos there. Like you cannot, like everywhere you go is just anime. You cannot escape it.
yeah. And then I really began to not like it anymore. It's just like, I could like draw anime, and it's like I don't want to draw this anymore.
I don't get this.
When I was in Tokyo, like it was just too much for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's to be expected. Have you ever been to those pachinko parlors?
No, I haven't.
Oh, good, because your ears probably would have been blown off. I heard they're like super loud as soon as you get in there.
No, like I wanted to go, but like I just like I was outside of one, and then I just like was like, oh no, this is too much for me. I go to another place. But they have like beautiful parks there. It's amazing, especially like the parks in Tokyo. They're really beautiful.
Yeah, they're very clean.
Yeah. Strange thing for me was like they had like no trash cans there, and I always went to those 7-Eleven shops in Tokyo. So I because they're like cheap, and I was eating like natto or like some other stuff like that I could find like for breakfast, and then I just chilled at the park. But like I was always like, I always wanted to like find a trash bin.
Yeah.
Trash bin. Yeah. Trash bin. but like it was so difficult to find. But I figured out because there was like a terrorist attack once, and they got like rid of like the trash bins in Japan because of like this. It was like a weird sect. I forgot it. There was a terrorist attack, and then they got rid of all the trash bins. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there anything else to say, really?
What's your like favorite anime? Like, what do you watch right now? Do you watch any anime?
I haven't watched anime since Evangelion, which was like back in February, and Evangelion was too much for me. I just stopped watching.
It's just like it's confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing, very sad. I just stopped at like episode 20, and
I think like when you watch Evangelion and what is it?
Just call it Lane. Yeah.
Lane. I forgot sometimes like the.
I never watched Lane.
Then you're confused as hell if you watch both. Like, I think like both are very like trippy, but I like this kind of style. I like, all this like cyberpunk stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, people just tell me that my art looks like something that would belong in Lane, and I'm just like, and I'm sitting over here like, I never watched Lane, and they get really surprised.
Yeah, because it reminded me a bit of Lane, your art, and with like the aesthetics.
A lot of my art and music inspiration came from Sewer, but then later on, I just have more influences now. So yeah, at the start, I was like very influenced by her, but then like later on, hearing about her controversies and such, I just kind of like distanced myself away from her. Yeah.
I understand. You talked also about hyperpop and all that.
Yeah.
So do you think it will like get bigger? Because I think all these like micro genres now are getting more popular. I mean, there's still like some underground stuff. More and more of this micro genres became like, but do you think it has to do with like SoundCloud, or do you think it has to do with like TikTok? I think like a lot of like people got famous because of TikTok, especially when it comes to hyperpop.
One of my friends did say that like people like Charlie XCX and Sophie popularized that genre, so
yeah, like from PC music, that's true. That's true.
It was a small genre, but then those artists just popularized it.
Do you know what C-punk is?
Not really, no.
So it was also like a micro genre in like 2011 till 2014, but it never like got popular. So it's kind of like a mix between like jungle, juke, and like elements of like water and stuff, where they have like rain dropping or oceans or dolphins.
So I'm guessing it's like similar to Vaporwave, kind of.
Yeah, it's similar to Vaporwave. So actually it's kind of like Vaporwave, but like it's a bit different. And back in the days now, when Tumblr was very popular, there were like so many micro genres and stuff. All this like Tumblr thing is now a bit gone, I think.
Yeah.
Like it's not really a thing anymore. Like with all those micro genres and things. I mean, like there's still like new genres that are popping up all the time. I think Tumblr really was very influential when it came to different styles and different music.
Speaking of Vaporwave, there are like many subgenres for Vaporwave. I think one of them is like dream punk or something.
Yeah, dream punk. Yeah, of course. Or like mall soft. There's so many,
I enjoy a lot of Vaporwave. That's also one of my influences because I listen to a lot of 2814 Telepath.
Telepath is really great.
Yeah.
I love Telepath. He's an amazing artist.
Hong Kong Express, I also listen to him. Mesh.
Oh, yeah, like Hong Kong Express, I have like a other project called Low Freight. So I was making like also Vaporwave. And back in the days, when he started this label, he was writing if I want to release a EP or something on like Dream Catalogue. But like I never did.
Yeah, oh god, Dream Catalogue is fully dead now. Hong Kong Express completely killed it.
I don't know why. Like it was a very cool label. There were like a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, Vaporwave is terrible." Like I like what they did, like with Dream Catalogue, where they not just use sample-based Vaporwave stuff. So there were like more people who like really created like a new sound, and that was like very interesting for me. And now I think it's also a bit sad that it's basically dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
all
I don't
those
know. Maybe
things,
Hong Kong
yeah.
Express might have like gone insane or something,
Yeah.
because they killed it because they were getting sick of the community and started making Vapor Hell tweets on their Twitter, and then Hong Kong Express started like taking the piss out of Blank Banshee and called it White Banshee and made like very shitty experimental rock music, and then he completely killed it. That's it. Nothing else. Like all his social medias are deleted.
Yeah.
Everything. It's dead. It's
I
completely
don't know,
dead.
like, why people always want so much drama and shit. Like, just fucking chill, you know? I don't know. I don't know, like, just, like, go outside, you know? Go for a walk.
Go touch grass.
Go touch grass. Go, like, I don't know. Like, learn the fucking kickflip with a skateboard. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the community is still around, though. You don't really hear about it nowadays.
Yeah.
That's the Vaporwave talk. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, what else we should talk.
Yeah. Yeah, again, my friends will be really happy to hear this.
It was, like, very nice, you know, talking to you. And,
yeah, same here. I was probably, like, the most excited here.
No, I also was very excited because, you know, I'm a very shy person, and I actually never, like, do stuff like that. I say to myself, you know, just do it, you know, don't
And now
worry
people
about
know
it.
what you sound like now.
Yeah.
I'll probably, like, get it out, like, the next day or something, or tonight, depending on how I work. Yeah, this has been really interesting, because, like, I've known you because of that controversy with Sewer. And then I never listened to the remix, but I did listen to the original, because all people told me just like, oh, Sewer added louder breaks to that song, and I'm just like, okay, cool, I don't care. I listened to the original song, and I was not disappointed.
That's nice to hear. To be honest, I like her remix. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
like,
it's passable.
But like, yeah. I guess I will eat something now.
All right. Thank you all very much for listening. Thank you very much for accepting that offer. You seemed very acceptant to be on this podcast. You were just very, very polite.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, you know, that you gave me the opportunity, and, you know, it was very nice talking to you, and I really like your music. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I initially just wanted to reach out to you about, like, the questions that I had for 37564, but why not just, like, have an entire podcast where I talk? Yeah, I don't know how frequent these podcasts are going to be. This is recorded a month after I did that recording with Bug. So 25th of June was the last episode, and 25th of July is the current one. But yeah, cool. I'm not sure how frequent this is going to be.
Yeah, like every month would be nice.
Yeah.
I would be a listener to it.
Cool, thank you. I'll probably still text you, like, right after that. Depending on how I'm feeling. I just tend to text people randomly.
That's nice.
So I hope you don't mind.
You can always text me.
Yeah.
I'm always at home.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm waiting until the whole shtick is over, and then I can go outside.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But
yeah. Well, yeah, once again, thank you very much. And
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been nice. It's really been nice.
It was, yeah.
Alright, thank you.
Have a great evening. Bye.
Alright, see ya.
See you.
Bye.